Today, we're going to demystify one of the most powerful tools in Jenkins automation, the Jenkins file. If you've ever wanted to turn your entire build process into clean, version-controlled code, you are in exactly the right place.
We've all been there, haven't we? Just drowning in the Jenkins UI, clicking through screen after screen, ticking endless checkboxes, and filling out what feels like a million text fields. It's tedious, it's super error-prone, and trying to track who changed what, when, it's almost impossible.
Well, the solution to all that clicking is this really powerful concept called pipeline as code. The whole idea is that your entire build, test, and deployment process can be defined in a single file that lives right alongside your application's source code. And in the world of Jenkins, that file is called the Jenkins file.
So what is a Jenkins file, really? At its heart, it's just a text file. But it's a very special one that acts as the complete blueprint for your entire CI/CD pipeline. And because you check this file into source control like Git, you suddenly unlock versioning, easy collaboration, and a single source of truth for your whole automation process.
Okay, so when you start writing your very first Jenkins file, you're going to face a choice right away. There are two different syntaxes you can use, scripted and declarative. Let's break down what that actually means for you.
On one side, you have scripted pipeline. This is the classic style. It's pure groovy script, which gives you a ton of power and flexibility. The only catch, you kind of have to know your way around the groovy language. On the other side is declarative, which is the modern standard. It uses a much simpler, predefined structure. It's a bit more opinionated, sure, but it's way easier for beginners to pick up. The takeaway here is simple. If you're just starting out, just go with declarative. It's the way to go. Since we're focusing on declarative, let's really dissect its anatomy. We're going to look at each core building block so you can see how it all fits together. Every single declarative Jenkins file starts with a pipeline block. Think of this as the main container, the wrapper that's going to hold everything else. It's the foundation for your whole process.
So, inside that pipeline, the very first thing you need is an agent. This little directive tells Jenkins where to actually run your job. Now, agent any is the simplest option you can use. It just means, hey Jenkins, run this on any machine you have available. It's the perfect place to start.
And now for the main event. Inside the pipeline, right after the agent, we define our stages. This block is the container for all the actual work your pipeline is going to do, all broken down into a logical sequence of, well, stages. And inside that stages block, you define one or more individual stage blocks. Each stage represents a distinct phase of your pipeline. You'll give them logical names like build, test, or deploy. Finally, we get to the real action, the steps. Inside every single stage, the steps block is where you define the actual commands to execute. This is where you'd compile your code, run your tests, or in this super simple case, just print a message to the console with the echo command. Let's recap that structure real quick, because it's super important. It all starts with the main pipeline block. Inside that, you have your agent. Inside that, you have the stages wrapper, which holds one or more individual stage blocks. And finally, inside each stage are the steps where the work actually gets done. See? It's a really clean, predictable hierarchy. Okay, we've seen the individual pieces. Theory is great, but now let's put them all together and see what a complete, simple pipeline looks like when it's actually in action. This table shows a classic textbook 3-stage pipeline. We've got a build stage, a test stage, and a deploy stage. And for this example, each stage is just running a single echo command to announce what it's doing. This simple structure is a completely valid Jenkins file that Jenkins could run right now. So after a successful run, this is pretty much what you'd see in the Jenkins interface. Our stages are visualized perfectly: build, test, and deploy, all green, which means success. We love to see it. But wait a minute. Look a little closer. Notice that very first stage is labeled checkout, but if you think back to our code, we never actually defined a stage with that name. So where did it come from? Is it magic? Nope, not magic. The answer is in how Jenkins works. See, when you set up your pipeline jog, you point it to a Git repository. Jenkins is smart enough to know that before it can run any of your stages, it has to check out your code first. So it automatically injects that checkout stage for you at the very beginning. It's a really helpful default behavior. Okay, let's talk about one of the most frustrating parts of developing a pipeline. That slow cycle of making an edit, committing it, pushing it, and then waiting for a whole build just to test one tiny change.
It's a huge time sink. So let's look at 2 pro features designed to break that slow cycle and save you a massive amount of time.
The first feature is called Replay, and I'm not kidding, this is an absolute game changer. Replay lets you take any completed build from your history, change its script right there in the browser, and then rerun it instantly. No git commit needed.
And using it could not be simpler. You just find a build in your history, click the replay button, and boom, you get a text editor with the exact script from that run. You can make your changes, test a new command, fix a typo, whatever, and just hit run. You get instant feedback, which is perfect for debugging and iterating really, really fast.
The second time-saving feature is Restart from Stage, and it does exactly what it sounds like. After a pipeline runs, doesn't matter if it failed or succeeded, you can choose to rerun it starting from a specific stage, and it will completely skip all the stages that came before it. And this is so invaluable in the real world. Imagine your build and test stages take 10 minutes to run, but a tiny typo makes your final deploy stage fail. Instead of wasting another 10 minutes rerunning everything from the start, you just fix the issue and restart directly from the deploy stage. It is an incredible efficiency boost. All right, let's wrap this all up with the key takeaways. First, always embrace pipeline as code by using a Jenkins file. Second, start with a user-friendly structured declarative syntax. Third, really get that core hierarchy down: pipeline, agent, stages, stage, and steps. And finally, seriously, use replay and restart from stage. They will make your life so much easier and your workflow so much faster.
So, there you have it. You now have the fundamental blueprint for building powerful, repeatable, and version-controlled automation in Jenkins. The only question left is, what are you going to build first?
All right, let's talk about the real heart of Jenkins automation, the Jenkins file. Think of it as the ultimate blueprint for your entire software delivery process. It takes all those complicated workflows and boils them down into one simple, powerful text file.
I mean, this is the big question, right? How do we solve that classic, well, it worked on my machine problem? What we're all after is a single, reliable, repeatable path to get our code from a developer's keyboard into the hands of a user, every single time.
And the answer, of course, is the Jenkins file. This is what we call pipeline as code. Because it's code, you can check it into version control, you can review it in a pull request, and you can take it with you anywhere. It becomes the one and only source of truth, living right there with your application code. No more clicking around in the UI trying to remember how a job was configured. It's all right here. Now, when you sit down to write this blueprint, you're going to hit your first fork in the road. See, there isn't just one way to write a Jenkins file. There are actually 2 different flavors or syntaxes, and you've got to pick one. So on one side, you have scripted pipeline. This was the original style. It's basically a full-on groovy script, which means it's incredibly flexible. You can do almost anything. But that power comes with a pretty steep learning curve. On the other side, we have the newer declarative pipeline. This one is much more structured. It gives you a clear, predefined format that's way easier to read and write. Honestly, for almost everyone, especially if you're just getting started, declarative is the way to go. So, with that in mind, we're going to focus on the declarative syntax for the rest of this breakdown. Let's pull it apart, piece by piece, so you can learn to read this blueprint like an absolute pro. Every single declarative Jenkins file you'll ever see starts with this one essential block. It's the root of everything. This pipeline block, it's the main wrapper for the whole file. It's basically you telling Jenkins, hey, everything inside these curly braces is a declarative pipeline, so you know exactly how to read it. It is the foundation of our entire structure.
Okay, so we've got our pipeline defined. Great. But a pipeline has to run somewhere. So where does all this work actually happen?
And that's where the agent directive comes in. This tells Jenkins what machine or agent to use to run the job. For now, agent any is the perfect way to start. It just means, hey Jenkins, I don't really care where you run this, just find any available machine and get it done. Simple as that. We've got the where figured out, so now it's time to define the what. The next big required block is where we actually lay out the steps of our workflow. That happens inside the stages block. Think of this as the table of contents for your process. You're not actually doing the work here, you're just organizing it into the main phases, things like build, test, and deploy. And inside that stages container, we defined each of those individual chapters. We give each one a clear name so we know what's going on. Each one of these is a stage, and each stage represents one distinct part of your workflow.
The name you give it in the parentheses here is exactly what you'll see on the Jenkins UI later on, which is super helpful for tracking your pipeline's progress at a glance. Almost there. So we've got the pipeline container, the agent where it runs, and the stages that organize the work. Now for the most important part. What do we actually do inside each stage? This is it, the steps block. This is where the magic happens. Nested inside a stage, the steps block holds the actual commands you want to run. It could be a simple echo to print a message, or it could be a shell script that compiles your code, runs your tests, and builds a Docker image. This is where the real work gets done. Okay, that's enough theory. Let's see how this all comes together. What does it look like when this blueprint actually gets built by Jenkins? Okay, so here's a super simple Jenkins file. We've defined two stages, one called build and another called deploy. Right now, they each just have a single step that prints a message. Pretty straightforward. And this is the beautiful part. When Jenkins runs this file, it literally reads your code and builds a visual pipeline from it. The stage build in your code becomes the build box you see in the UI. It's a perfect one-to-one translation from your blueprint to the final structure. But if you've run a pipeline before, you might be looking at this and thinking, hang on a second, there's usually a checkout stage at the very beginning. I didn't write that in my Jenkins file, so where did it come from? And that is a great question with a simple answer. That stage is added for you automatically by Jenkins. When you set up the job in the Jenkins UI and you point it at your Git repository, Jenkins is smart enough to know that the very first thing it needs to do is, well, check out your code. So it just prepends that stage for you. Okay, final topic. Once your pipeline is up and running, it's kind of a pain to have to commit a new change to Git every single time you want to test a tiny little tweak. Well, thankfully, Jenkins gives us a couple of fantastic shortcuts for this. The first one is a lifesaver. It's called replay. This lets you take the script from a previous run, edit it right there in the Jenkins UI, and run it again. It is perfect for debugging without having to make a bunch of messy commits. The second tool is restart from stage. So imagine your build and test stages pass, but the deploy stage fails. Instead of running the whole thing over again, you can just tell Jenkins to restart from that failed stage. It saves a ton of time. So when you really step back and look at it, the value here is just immense. The Jenkins file isn't just another configuration file. It literally transforms your entire complex delivery process into code that can be reviewed, versioned, and improved just like the rest of your application. This simple text file turns what used to be a messy manual process into a clean, automated, and totally repeatable blueprint. So now that you know how to read the plans, the only real question left is, what are you going to build first?